Hey guys, thanks for tuning in again. Today I want to talk a little bit about a topic that that I had a lot of questions around when I first started smoking meat, and that was around the different types of charcoal. For any of you out there that don't know what charcoal is, all it is wood that was burnt without any oxygen. I'll link a couple of videos in the description below of how the two types of charcoal that I'm going to be talking about are made. Depending on your experience with cooking with charcoal, you may or may not have known this. There's actually two main types of charcoal out there. The first type is the most popular that you see at gas stations, big box stores, just about anywhere, and that is what's called briquettes. I've got an example of some right here. The second type of charcoal that's less common is what is called lump charcoal. I've got some right here as well. I'll give you guys a quick close-up of each type here. So over here on our left is what is called a briquette. And on the right here is what is called lump charcoal. So when I first started smoking, to be completely honest, I wasn't aware that there was such thing as lump charcoal. The only thing I was familiar with was the briquette. So today, I want to talk a little bit about the pros and cons of each, and maybe help you decide on which one you would prefer. First, let's start with the briquette. A briquette is made out of a wood byproduct compressed with additives to help it have a quicker light and a more consistent burn. The most common additives are limestone, starch, and sawdust. A few of the pros when it comes to when cooking with briquettes is that it burns longer, it burns more consistently, it's relatively cheaper, it's easier to find, and just overall it just has a more consistent burn that makes it easier to handle. On the flip side, some of the cons are it takes a little bit longer to light, as well as since there are more additives and the sawdust and whatnot inside of it, it tends to have a little more ash residue when it's all said and done. Now let's talk a little bit about lump charcoal. Lump charcoal is the most natural state of charcoal. As you can tell, when you look at it up close, you can actually see the chunks of wood. It's not compressed or anything like that. Some of the pros when it comes to lump charcoal is that it lights quickly, it burns hotter, and when it's all said and done, there's very little ash left. Some of the cons with working with lump charcoal is that it is a little bit more expensive, and it tends to have a little bit less consistency inside of the bag. With the briquettes, they're all the same size and shape, so it's a little bit easier to kind of make sure that there is the same amount in each bag. So now I'd like to talk a little bit about my recommendations here. If you are a smoker or a griller with not very much experience, or you just started out, I would definitely recommend the briquettes. They're just a little bit easier to handle, and they're a good starting point. Also, since they've got a little bit longer of a burn life, it's definitely a lot more convenient when you're cooking or when you're smoking some meats that take 3-4 hours. It's a little bit less maintenance. If you've got a little bit more experience, or you're looking for a little bit more of a challenge, you could definitely try out the lump charcoal. What I personally like the lump charcoal for is when you're dealing with poultry or some meats where you're looking for a little bit higher heat. It seems to reach that higher temp a lot quicker than it does with the briquette. Another alternative, and something that I've been doing quite frequently recently here, is I do a mix of both the briquettes and of the lump charcoal. You kind of get the benefits of both, so you get a little bit higher heat, a little bit quicker burn, but that helps with the consistency though when you've got the briquettes. One quick tip I'd like to add: if you have not invested in one of these, I would definitely recommend it. This is what is called a charcoal chimney. It helps with the lighting of the charcoal, either lump or briquettes. You just load it up. You can put paper or if you have a blowtorch or something to get it lighted. But all you have to do is just let it sit there for a while, and it'll heat up. And it's very convenient, relatively cheap, and it's a good tool to have. So I hope this video has helped giving you a little more knowledge around charcoal. I'd be curious to hear your comments below on which one's your preference. Have you had any better luck with one or over the other? Please let me know. I'd be glad to hear from you. Thanks a lot for joining me for another video here.